So recently I started packing up for a move. Going through all my old stuff and everything, all my Zippos. It's got me feeling a little nostalgic. So today I figured I'd talk to you guys about how I got my first Zippo and really how I got into Zippos in the first place. It's cool about Zippos. Each one kind of has its own little backstory. This kind of goes back with an old advertisement Zippo used to run about a soldier who had a Zippo in his breast pocket. He ends up getting shot, and he pulls out his lighter. It's got like the bullet lodged into it, and like this Zippo saved this soldier's life, and all that. If you're into Zippos, I'm sure you've heard about that. But what's interesting is that when I went to the Zippo Museum in Bradford, Pennsylvania, I didn't see one thing about that. Like they had a bunch of their old advertisements and stuff. They even had a section of like Zippos that were sent back in for repair, and I guess they were beyond repair, so they just sent them a new one. And it had like run over by a lawnmower, crushed by a truck, and they didn't have one shot by a gun. So I'm not really sure if it's an advertisement that they kind of did away with now due to liability, or it's just like a story that people made up as time went on. I'm not really sure. So, what really got me into Zippos in the first place? I have to say, I guess when you go away to all the gift shops, they have those huge Zippo stands, like on the rotating case and everything. That was something that always piqued my interest when I was younger. Growing up in New York, whenever we went to Manhattan, every gift shop has those little Zippo stands, big, small. A lot of them have like multiple Zippo cases. And I know whenever I was little, I used to sneak away from my parents and go check out the Zippo stands. Just thought it was really cool. One that really always caught my eye, just the plain Spectrum one. I wanted that so bad when I was younger. And I don't know if it's just from seeing them in person or, they were all over TV, still all over TV. It's an American icon. There was also one book that stands out in my memory, an R.L. Stein Fear Street. I can't remember what the title was, but it's kind of a bunch of high school kids get stuck in detention, and they end up like going, I guess, underground to this like party area from way back in the day, and this like red mist comes out and like it's trying to kill them. It's pretty bizarre, but one of the characters in it, he has a Zippo, and I think they were trying to like burn the thing, maybe burn the area they were in. And, he takes out some lighter fluid. He's like, why do you have lighter fluid with you? And it's just interesting because at the time, I was in like third or fourth grade when I read this. And my school had, it was like very old. It had like sisters and nuns living there. So there were a lot of secret corridors and everything. Well, that we thought there were. Because there was like a dumbwaiter at one point. We're like, oh, we got to get in there and go down. But they had like a master lock on it, and you don't really know anything about like shimming it open or picking locks when you're in like third or fourth grade. But just little things like that kind of really piqued my interest. It wasn't until like one day I was a little older, I asked my parents, hey, could you get me this lighter? And they're like, what do you need a lighter for? You don't smoke. I'm like, no, they're just cool. Like, you're gonna burn the house down, kid. You're crazy. Go pick something else out. And that was kind of my luck growing up with trying to get lighters. Even in high school, I thought I could try and like commission some friends. Like maybe you can get it for me. You'll have better luck. No luck. I remember one time I was right there at the store at checkout, and the lady rings it up. And she's like, oh, I'm going to need to see some ID. It's like, come on. You don't need to be 18 years old to buy a Zippo. First of all, it doesn't even come with fluid. I can't do anything with it. But anyway, one funny story about it is actually, I used to, I asked one of my friends, that they used to get the chewing tobacco or like cigarettes or whatever. I'm like, where'd you get that? I'm like, oh, you're interested? I could get some for you. I'm like, no, just what store? And of course, they don't have any Zippos. What can you do? So then, we're going to fast forward to the future. I was in college. It was my 18th birthday was coming up. I'm like, I know what I'm going to get. I'm going to get a Zippo. And, I looked it up, nearest authorized Zippo dealer. I think it was a couple of miles away from school, so I skateboard over there, no big deal. And I go in, and the dude sees me, he's like, I'm gonna need to see some ID. I'm like, not a problem. Hand it over. Like, oh, happy birthday. How can I help you? I'm like, I'm just looking at your Zippos right now. So I go through. He has a smaller Zippo display, not rotating, just one little thing. But I went by, took a glance, and I ended up picking. This is the Possessed Zippo, Possessed model from their tattoo art collection. I just really like the design, and then this was one of the few that came in the metal tin, and I just knew I wanted it at first sight. So I tell him this is the one I want. He rings it up. He's like, do you want any lighter fuel? I'm like, no, I'm good. I don't smoke, so I'm like, whatever's in there is probably gonna last me a long time. So I get it, put it in my backpack, and then skateboard back to campus. I get back to my dorm room, whip out my backpack, and I'm like all excited. Flip it open. What? It won't light? Dude, I got a broken Zippo. So then, I go onto Google. I'm like, my Zippo won't light. And the first thing is like, did you fill it? They don't come fueled. You gotta fill it. I'm like, oh my God, dude, no, I messed up. So then, I look up online where to get Zippo fuel. They say 7-Eleven. They always have it. So, I go skateboard from my dorm all the way to the nearest 7-Eleven. I get there, and I don't see any Zippo fuel. So I asked the guy, hey, you got any Zippo fuel? And he's like, yeah, we got this, Romsinol. I'm like, are you sure that'll work in a Zippo? I'm like, yeah, dude, it's lighter fuel. It's all the same stuff. It'll work. So, I got by it, skateboard back to my dorm, fill it up, and of course, lights on the first try. So, whenever I see this lighter, I kind of just remember that story, my little misadventure, my 18th birthday. Really should have done some more research and figured out, and just known that Zippos don't come fueled. But it's funny now that I think about it, and I guess it's cool. I got my exercise for that day. But yeah, I just really, there's just something about Zippos that I enjoy. I really like them. So I guess that's it for today. Maybe next time I'll tell you a different story on one of my other Zippos. Yep. Catch you guys next time.